Christian Horner's fall from grace is far from over, with reports emerging of a fiery confrontation between him and Max Verstappen's father just days before his dismissal from Red Bull. The 51-year-old team boss, who once steered Red Bull to an astonishing haul of 8 drivers' championships and 6 constructors' crowns, was shown the door last week, marking a seismic shift for the team after 2 decades at the top. His exit follows a turbulent 18 months, including serious allegations of misconduct, of which he was twice cleared, as well as internal power struggles and a noticeable dip in Red Bull's dominance on the track. Former F1 driver-turned-pundit Ralf Schumacher claims he witnessed a tense shouting match between Horner and Jos Verstappen during the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. While talking to Box and Garza podcast, he said, "There was another argument or a heated exchange, at least visually and verbally, between Jos Verstappen, Christian Horner and the press officer. He can't really deal with criticism. Sky Sports Germany are, or I am now, on a so-called blacklist, so he no longer talks to us or with me and such. It's actually a joke, because a man who has won so much should actually be able to discuss it in front of the camera." It's been said that Horner's sacking is linked to his inability to keep Max Verstappen in Red Bull, and if this latest revelation is any indication, that might be true. An insider from Verstappen's camp claims that he'll be with Mercedes next season. Speculation over a potential team switch has been swirling for months, especially after it emerged that the 4-time world champion has held behind-the-scenes talks with Mercedes about a blockbuster move for 2026. But now it seems that move might happen even sooner. Despite being contracted with Red Bull until the end of 2028, Verstappen reportedly has a performance-related exit clause. If he's outside the top 3 in the standings after the Hungarian Grand Prix in August, he's free to walk away. And walk he just might. Straight into Mercedes' garage. Rumors have intensified with reports that Verstappen and his camp are seriously weighing a move to the Silver Arrows as early as next season. Nelson Piquet Jr., brother of Verstappen's partner, Kelly, may have accidentally spilled the beans during a recent Pelas Pistas podcast while discussing Max's British Grand Prix performance. "Who knows next year with Max there," he said, before adding, "They are talking. Everyone knows, right?" Piquet Jr. further alluded to the fact that Verstappen is close to finalizing his contract with Mercedes. "Just missing final contract details," the Brazilian continued. "But everyone knows that it's an option. They are talking. Until August, he needs to have made a decision. They will either get the final details right or not. But I think it would be pretty cool." Even Jenson Button has weighed in on the rumors surrounding Max Verstappen's next move, revealing he'd love to see the reigning champion line up alongside George Russell at Mercedes. But while the prospect excites the 2009 world champion, he also warned that such a move wouldn't come without its complications. Having spent his entire F1 career within the Red Bull camp, a switch to another team, especially one like Mercedes, would be a major shift for Verstappen. Button, speaking on the Chris Moyles show on Radio X, acknowledged that adapting to a new environment could be tricky, even for a driver of Verstappen's caliber. Asked whether a straight swap between Russell and Verstappen could realistically happen, Button responded, saying, "I mean, possible. It's a tricky one for Max, because he's in a position where he's doing so well with Red Bull. They've given him so much over the years. They've designed this car around him, and he's extremely good at it. Nobody can match him in that car. They're so far off him. I mean, him qualifying 3rd or 4th, and them qualifying 18th. If he goes to Mercedes, it's a different thing altogether. You know that car is not going to be designed around him. So, is it going to work for him? I don't know. I mean, the best in the world should be able to make that work for him. It's a tough one on George because George is at the top of his game. I think he's been so competitive. When you see what he did against Lewis Hamilton in the last few years, he is world championship material. So, to replace Max with him, it just seems like a strange move. I know they've got the young Kimi Antonelli, who's 18, who could be a future star, but we still don't know that. Whereas George is there, he is good. And you need two very competitive drivers with this new era of the sport. Next year, obviously lots of regulation changes, car change, engine change. So, for me, George and Max would be a better lineup. Pressed on whether a Verstappen-Russell pairing could actually work, especially given their fiery encounters both on and off the track, Jenson Button admitted it wouldn't be the smoothest dynamic in the paddock. While acknowledging the sparks that have flown between the two in recent seasons, he said, "I would love to see it." That said, Jenson Button shouldn't get his hopes up just yet. Max Verstappen has brushed aside suggestions that fears over Red Bull's future under Formula One's 2026 regulations are behind his ongoing discussions with Mercedes. According to the reigning world champion, long-term speculation isn't what's driving his decision-making when it comes to staying put or making a shock switch. There is no decision at the moment. For me, it's not about 26 or whatever. I just focus on what I have ahead of me, work with the team. Of course, a lot of people make up assumptions, but that's not me. Verstappen also pointed out that all the talk surrounding Red Bull's supposed decline in the next rules era is purely speculative for now. No one truly knows which team will come out on top when the new generation of cars takes to the grid. I think no one can say 100% sure that they will be fully comfortable next year. There will be so many unknowns anyway for next year. The only thing that I have to do is drive whatever I have fast. As for Red Bull's recent wobble on track, Verstappen isn't reading too much into it. He's quick to shut down any notion that the team's dip in form means they won't be back in the title fight next season. I think it's also, when you look at the previous regulations, I think no one would have expected McLaren to suddenly do that, he said. Sometimes, yeah, it takes a bit of time to get everything together. I think now it was the opposite for us. We had everything really well from the start of the new regulations, and then towards the end, it was a bit of a struggle for us. That is something that we have to figure out why we didn't hit the same kind of progression as maybe some other teams. But then again, 2026 is completely different. It's something completely different that you need from a car. Because the previous generation of cars, we had the opposite. We were off in the beginning, and then towards the end, we actually made it work. So sometimes it's also a bit difficult to explain everything. Why or how things are so good or so average. Horner's fall and Verstappen's future could redefine the F1 grid. Will Max really walk away? Or is this just smoke? Hit subscribe and drop your predictions below. Next season's drama is just getting started.